Coming up right now, well, we got one for the record books. What this trash bag with legs was caught doing.
Oh, it's my favorite story of the day. Also coming up, forget about your summer body. It's all about your airline body. That's right, an airline announces it will now weigh passengers as well as their carry-on luggage.
All right, a little bit later on, it's the bold new way to publicly announce your breakup, while your social feeds could actually be filling up with a new kind of press release.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
Hi, I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to a Wednesday Daily Flash where we got our trending news and entertainment all lined up and ready to go for you. So thank you so much for joining us. Of course, Matt Doolittle also hanging out with us too, and always doing his thing, which you'll be doing in Greece, your honeymoon.
We're ready. This is the last thing I have to spend a lot of money on to do with this wedding.
Boy.
I am so ready to go, and like I'm actually at the point where we've planned everything, so I can enjoy it now because it's just been like. She's asking me questions of where we want to go to these fancy cities with names on them, and I'm like, sure, let's go do that.
Sure, yes. That's a good thing about being a husband. You just surrender to
I
the
just
moment.
smile, nod, and show up. That's it.
I sent Matt a picture of this. I said, hey, man, I'm on your honeymoon. And it's I went at a restaurant, had a grease trap thing on the bottom.
No.
Yeah, I'm already,
Matt's going to Greece, so that
took me a minute.
makes sense.
Yeah, he figured out what it was all about afterwards.
What is one of the worst texts you can get, like a one-word text?
We need to, one word?
One word.
Oh, something I think about. Something along the lines of, I don't know, one word.
Just an okay freaks me out.
Hey.
Hey, okay, sure, okay, yeah.
Has been pinpointed as the worst one-word text anyone can get in the office. It sends chills down people's spines, and it's got a new term. It's called hey hanging, because it makes people feel completely anxious about what's coming after the hey.
Okay, that
Is
makes
it
sense.
hey, like, why can't you just say, hey, can you get to work on time at 8 a.m.? Instead, just a simple hey, it's like, am I going to get fired? What's going on? What's happening? I don't know.
And it's unnecessary, I think, is what you're saying,
Yes.
because you're like, hey, well, you're about to tell me something anyway. Why would you give? Remember when texts were like, bye, you only got a certain amount of text?
Yes, yeah.
Like, can you imagine that sort
I know,
of thing?
right?
But okay, I can buy into that. Yeah.
Now, the people that are sending the hey texts are saying, it's my way of getting your attention because I've got to compete with all of these
Certainly.
other sources of communication, whether it be email or other texts or phone calls. Hey seems to grab people's attention right away.
I think that's how those scammers nail a lot of people too. Is
Yes.
I get a lot of those
You're
now.
right.
It's just random number and it just says hey, and I'm
Hey.
like, am I supposed to know this person?
Yeah.
I got an email literally this morning that said, I need you to reply back to basically to prove this is a real email. We have a great offer for you. I'm like, why would I?
What a great offer.
Well, yeah, just tell me what the offer is. Yeah, honestly,
exactly.
it was an email, but imagine getting a text like that. I don't. If I don't know the number, I don't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I don't text back. I don't do anything. Matter of fact, I report it. If it's
that's a good thing
My
to
cell
do.
company has a little button you can press, and then it sends it off.
I always find the flittering dots, when you know somebody's responding, you're like, oh, what are they going to say? What's coming next?
Okay, so I have an animation of that. Right?
You do?
And I would send it to people, and all it does is just that 3 dots the entire time. And they're like, okay, yeah, well, what? And then after they figure it out, that I'm not, I go, you know how to keep an idiot in anticipation? And you send
Yes,
one of those.
that would be it.
All right, and I'll pass that along to you if you want
Thank
to
you.
use it.
Yes.
All right, we got a video that you got to just check out to believe, all right? Let's just call it a real piece of trash. Stop what you're doing, watch your screen right now. A crafty porch pirate caught on a doorbell camera disguised as a garbage bag as they approached a house and stole a package from the doorstep. The video shows the unidentified person actually walking up to the home covered in a trash bag with only their feet and slippers visible. See him here? Looks like E.T. almost, doesn't it? The homeowner said he couldn't believe it when he watched the security footage. Listen, we never want to condone this type of behavior. However, this package thief actually gets a little bit of A's for creativity.
Yeah, creativity, absolutely. Yeah.
That is, and more than likely, it's probably something crappy you got anyway,
Yes.
Like,
From Amazon.
Batteries
or
batteries or soap or something like that.
At least they're making the effort. I've just seen videos because I'm on that neighbor's website where they send one, and some lady posted one. This lady, you could bluntly see her face, just flat out walked up to somebody's
They don't care?
door and just took it and walked off, and you could bluntly see who it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matt, you have a cat, and I just found out this great thing. What you do is you get all your cat litter and you keep it in an Amazon box, right?
Yeah.
And you leave it at your front door, and then they'll get rid of it for you, and then when they open it up, they have cat turds.
Nice.
So how about that?
Oh, that's genius.
I just saw that the other day, so I'm going to do that.
Well, check this out. An airline has announced it will start weighing passengers with their carry-on luggage in order to better estimate the plane's weight before takeoff. The controversial move comes from Finnish carrier Finnair after they started measuring passengers. Finnair, which services the UK with budget flights to and from Finland, said airlines work out the weight of the plane for safe transit. It's just part of the deal. So far, more than 500 customers have participated in the weigh-ins. Finnair assured potential passengers that their data is not being used for personal profiles. The weigh-in.
The way, yeah. I mean, I guess I imagine you can say, I don't want to stand on that. Like some people don't want to know what their weight is. Now I used to be a much bigger person, and this is a true story. So I get on this plane, and it was me and Eric. We were flying out to for work, and I got on the plane, and we were just sitting there for a while, and then they came up to me and goes, you need to get off the plane here. And I go, what? Okay. So I walked up, and Eric, he's a real thin guy. And he goes, yeah, they said they're weighing the plane, and it's uneven. And so they take the fat guy off,
Oh my God.
and he stayed on. And that's how I found out that's what they were doing. And then I came back, and they put me in a different seat, and I figured that's what the case was. And I get it, because I would much rather arrive at my destination in a different seat.
Yes.
And I also understood it as well. It was a smaller plane. And they have to do those sort of things. But I don't know if I would get in front. I would not want anybody else to see me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
If you stood on it and then go, all right, now here's your seat, and then you would go and sit down in that way. But that doesn't look like that's the case. And it's a budget airline, so I doubt if it's all high tech.
Yeah, and do you think it makes it easier if you're being weighed with your carry-on luggage? Because then that might be able to mask some of the reality.
That's
of
actually,
your
yes, you're right.
situation.
I'm
It's
carrying
a
bowling
carry-on.
balls.
It's not me, it's my carry-on.
But it does make sense to do that, because you're going to put that above you, which would put that weight wherever
With
you're
you.
sitting at.
You're going to see these airlines do a lot more of this nitpicking stuff, especially with that new thing going into action where they have to pay you back for missed flights or anything. They're going to start finding little nitpicks, especially the budget ones, the two we all know about that do this already. They're going to come up with that.
Yeah, indeed. Well, announcing a breakup to friends, family, even colleagues can be as stressful as, well, just the end of the relationship, right? However, there's one content creator discovered a bold new way to share the heartbreaking news. 28-year-old Diana Martinez created a flyer announcing her split from her partner of 6 years, which she sent to a chat group. It said, "Attention, we broke up." All appears in bold. Yes, it was his fault. No, we're not ever getting back together. I require 2 to 3 weeks for any further questions. You don't have to block him. I'm indifferent. Martinez knew it was the time to tell her friends, but didn't want to the ongoing headache of explaining. I get that. She said that the main reason for the split was because her partner refused to travel outside of the U.S., which she called a red flag.
I got priors, man.
Her flyer also asked for privacy. She's also thriving now, she says, months after the split. I don't mind that. The only thing I don't like is she goes, yes, it was his fault. Because we don't get to hear his side.
That's true.
But that's probably what most people would say, yeah, it was always the other person's fault.
Unless he chooses to post his own press release
Maybe
regarding
that's
the breakup, but...
I think, yeah, and then also, now we got flyers, everybody trying to figure it out. But I would imagine I get that. Like, you get tired of
Are we
telling
going to
the
see
same
breakup
story.
stories on milk cartons?
Yes, wouldn't that be great?
Have you ever seen a friend of yours like on Facebook that did break up and you start doing a dive into their page to be like, when did it happen?
Yes.
It's such a stupid soap opera
It's a
thing.
rabbit
and
hole.
You're like, you're building your own story in your head of, oh, they took down the pictures of
tell
their
you what.
fiance.
I don't have to do that because it's the ones that will post how in love they are and this is the perfect person they've ever met. And I'm like, 3 months. If that. And then all of a sudden they have another person that they're in love with.
I'm good then because my wife doesn't post anything. I don't think she put wedding pictures up yet.
Yeah, it's smart.
Do you find you're using Facebook less or social media less these days, or about the same?
I'm using it less. It's just it's the same stuff over and over now, and then I'm trying to get my mental health right because cuckoo. Yeah. So I've backed off of it a little bit.
I think it's important to do so. I don't think that I was on it as much as I was maybe maybe 5 years ago, so that sort of thing. And it gets to a point where I start seeing the same things over and over.
They're saying that it's not your imagination that fewer people are actually participating in social media nowadays, just because of the reasons you guys explained.
I think it just got so toxic, and there's just junk on there, and especially with the political season coming up, I'm good. I got into it last time. I don't need to get into it this time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to get worse before it gets better, but AI goes the same route. People are going to get tired of AI stuff, and it's no matter what, it's going to get better and better, but then people are like, I just want to move away from it.
Yeah. All right, stay with us. We're back right after this. Winter can be difficult for many people, but there are things we can do to counter the gray days and early darkness. In her new book titled Turn to the Sun, author Brittany Gowan gives some practical advice on how to look to nature, yes, even in winter, to help relieve some of that stress and anxiety. Brittany, welcome to Daily Flash.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
You say it's important to find unique green spaces anywhere and anytime. Please explain.
Yeah, I think that many times we can think that we need to be in an expansive landscape to connect to nature. And I think that we can also connect to small pockets of nature, whether it is a planter near a grocery store or in city life, maybe you see plants in a window. And I think that when we connect to nature in different ways, it allows us to bring nature into our daily lives and not just have it be something that we connect to at certain times. So I think that is just a nice reminder that we can always have nature close, and we just have to look for it in different ways. And maybe it's in your houseplants as well.
How can we use nature for stress management?
Yeah, I think that stress tends to stick around when we ruminate, and when everyone's felt this, when you have something maybe that's gone wrong or something that's frustrating, and we tend to create this like mental tape that's negative and is kind of hard to break. But when we're in nature and you're spending time with greenery, studies show that we tend to have less rumination. We're able to stay present longer. So that's something that I think is great. It's one of my favorite things related to how we can release stress with nature. And it just is allowed going outside, being in nature, and kind of creating that pause. And I think that's what nature does. It interrupts our thought processes and lets us have a positive mindset.
Well, even the cover of your book, Brittany, is just sort of, I get the,
Thank you. I was hoping so.
Yeah. Tell us about the relationship between nature and environmental awareness.
Yeah, I think that many times what we care about, we tend to want to protect. And I think when we're creating a conscious connection with nature that allows us to have it in our daily lives, it allows us to increase our compassion, our empathy, and reminds us that we're a part of a bigger ecosystem. I know from being in city life, we can get caught up with our man-made world, and if you're not looking for nature, it can feel very distant. So staying connected to nature is a way that I think we can work on protecting our environment, increasing that awareness.
I think everybody talks about meditation, and so many people think, okay, I'll make it a part of my everyday life, but it becomes a little bit too much. So this might be an easy way to incorporate that into your world, if only maybe for 5 minutes a day.
Yes, and that's what I believe in, especially, in city life, things are rushed. And I think that if you can just take a moment to reconnect with yourself, which is one of the biggest things, and connect with nature and have those moments where you're just coming back to your present moment, you're coming back to maybe what is important to you. And nature, I really do believe, can be that resource.
Very true. Well, Brittany, some great stuff. The book is beautiful. Turn to the Sun, your guide to release stress and cultivate better health through nature. It's great. It's a wonderful read. I think it would be a great bedside table book, too, because you could just keep it right there.
Yes, that was part of my goal, actually. So,
well, you did well, Brittany. Thank you. For more information or how to get a copy of Brittany's book, Turn to the Sun, please visit BrittanyGowan.com. Mitch.
Thank you, AJ. Something that we all need, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's this. Well, if you are struggling with inflation and higher interest rates, don't worry, maybe you actually could put your feet to work. There's a recent survey released by Fetish Site, I've been told, Fun with Feet revealed that models with square feet are earning about $45,000 a year. And those with Greek feet, where the second toe is longer than the rest, could be earning about $43,000. All right, do you have a Roman feet, or a foot rather? That's where the first 3 toes are of equal length. You could be a top earner on the website because those kinds of feet are so rare.
What?
And if you have the highly common Egyptian foot with a tall, big toe, you might be wasting your time because ain't nobody wants to see your feet. Get that toe jam out. Yeah. And if you got hair growing on your feet, forget it. That's where 96% of Fun with Feet's users draw the line. And why is our camera guys all looking down? I know, like, looking at feet. There's people that like feet, man. I don't get it. We have, most people have 2 of them. You can look at your own, but there are people that really fancy those, I guess is the best way to say it.
I can't tell you the number of times I've gotten emails from viewers asking if they can send me a pair of shoes, and if I accept, will I take a picture wearing the shoes. It's just the most, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Is there money involved?
Well, clearly there is, and I guess on the OnlyFans site, there's plenty of people that's all they do. They just show their feet.
All right, we're not going to show your feet. You don't have open toe, but is your second toe bigger?
My second toe is, yes.
Mine is too, then I'm thinking. I don't sit there and stare. Everybody's like looking right now.
Yeah.
And hey, look, there's people that, I guess that's why they call them fetishes. They like to hone in on that sort of thing. And all they're just showing the feet. And to me, the feet are the most disgusting thing in the world. And, right? I mean, because it's like all the stuff. And like when they get all black and dirty and everything. Here's the thing, what people don't realize how important, I'm kind of going down a different avenue here, how important it is that there's medicine that your body absorbs, because your feet are always so sweaty. Like you can put the medicine on your feet and it'll get into your body quicker. Essential oils are that way as well. So I think people forget how important the feet are. I don't think about the feet that much. Maybe that's why. And maybe I don't want to if I'm...
Don't you wonder?
There's people out there who really wants it.
The thought always crosses my mind, like, how does one stumble into a fetish like this?
Yeah.
Do they learn it? Do they hear about it and think, oh, that sounds interesting? Or is it really something that's innate in them that they're just obsessed with feet?
I'm afraid to actually start because I'm like, and I might be a foot guy. I don't know, man. I don't know. Here's the thing. I've taken my own foot out of my mouth many a time.
Yeah, this is true.
So,
well, I think we both have on very many occasions.
So if that's a fetish, then I should be making 45 grand extra. All right, what do you think? Don't send us your feet, and don't ask to see Jackson's feet either. But drop us an email, flash@dailyflashshow.com. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. We got a brand new segment coming your way. The Scene with Doreen brings you celebrities you know chatting it up with nationally syndicated radio host Doreen Taylor. We're excited to have her on board and to find out who she's talking to in her very first The Scene with Doreen.
Thanks, Mitch. I'm so excited to be part of the Daily Flash family and bringing you guys awesome one-on-one interviews every week. This week, The Scene with Doreen got to catch up with blues rock titan, guitarist, singer-songwriter Joe Bonamassa. Besides having more #1 albums than any other blues artist in history, Joe talks about his upcoming U.S. summer tour, his new project, Live at the Hollywood Bowl, dropping May 17th, and he goes behind the scene to talk about what it's really like to be a successful touring musician. Check it out.
Now, you just wrapped up a very successful spring tour up and down the East Coast. And I've read that you've said one of the most challenging parts of your career is when you come back home after a tour. What makes that transition so difficult for you?
You are when you're on a 5-show week schedule and you don't realize how frantic the days are. It's like, here's your meet and greet, here's your sound check, here's this, here's that, all this stuff that goes on before the gig. So now you have all this extra energy because your body's saying, hey, listen, we work at 4 o'clock, we sound check at 4:30. All of that goes away and you hit a brick wall. Now, I'm not complaining. It's just what it is. So when I'm home, the first, say, 4 or 5 days after the tour, I am the most fastidious OCD guy in the world. I will clean all the amps. I will anything to burn off this extra energy, and then finally you crash, and then you become a normal civilian again.
Without you, it's all bad news. Every day is the same old thing. The 24-hour blues.
I've read many articles where you've said that you hate the way you play guitar, you hate the way you sing, that you wish you could do it much differently. What? I just listened to that clip. America just listened to that clip. What would you want to do differently than what you're doing right there or right now?
I would like to sound like Paul Rogers.
No, you sound like you, and that's amazing. That's good.
Something works, and that's the thing you have to reconcile, because when you listen to yourself, it's almost impossible when you have a personality like mine, self-deprecating, to nitpick the things that you hear that you could have done differently. So I have to kind of check that at the door and accept the fact that something works here.
And what are fans going to expect from this new Blues Deluxe tour?
12-piece band. It's going to be 3 horns, 3 singers, and it's all straight blues. You know what I mean? And every once in a while, because my music veers off into sludgier, harder rock and roll or Americana stuff and stuff that comes out of the 615. It's kind of vacillated between those. And every once in a while, you have to remind not only your fans but yourself that you are a blues artist. So we're taking it out, doing the best of both Blues Deluxe, the original album, and Blues Deluxe Volume 2, and then we're going to do 4 or 5 other things that we've never done before.
Make sure to see Joe Bonamassa on tour this summer. Get his new album on May 17th, and check me out on The Scene with Doreen each week right here at the Daily Flash. Back to you guys.
Well, guys, the Grammys were a few weeks ago, and one celeb in particular had a first when Miley Cyrus won her first Grammy. Yay! Congrats, Miley, from baby Dolly Parton in my eyes. Right. But a video popped up online that had us thinking, is it true she might be in a little bit of danger for the extra security? Taylor Swift just had a guy arrested again for the 4th or 5th time for stalking, so is it true she's got a revealed bodyguard with her?
I think it's an umbrella. I think because of the event, he would have to have planned it out because it was raining that night. So I say it's just an umbrella. I say it's not a
gun. I'm going to go fake arm. Go? I'll go fake arm, umbrella as a gun.
I think it may be a little bit of both. I think it was some type of tactical thing where they made it work out because they've had a lot of these, the crazies going after a lot of the music celebrities lately. So I think that all the stuff Taylor Swift's been going through, she has an army of security guards that go with her. If you've seen her at all the football games and everything, there's 4 or 5 guys that are constantly hovering around them because they are so influential. They're worth so much money, and they don't want another unfortunate John Lennon type situation to ever happen again. So I think they're paying top dollar for a lot of these security efforts.
A lot of those, they're trained. That's their job, full-time job. They probably are packing heat.
Yeah.
I don't think that umbrella was actually a gun.
But if it wasn't, it's a very cool idea.
Actually, isn't it? Yeah. It's like James Bond.
To be discreet. Yeah, exactly. It's very 007. If you're trying to be discreet. But obviously, if there was any sort of, I would think they might have to disclose that.
It seems like they would have to. Yeah. I mean, especially for the Grammys, if they're saying, listen, there's a no weapon policy here altogether, bodyguard or not.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, and we're welcoming you to Daily Flash, trending news and entertainment. I've said this many, many times. Yes. Having 5 kids that have taken raids and that sort of thing. Their first birthday, for some reason, every parent feels like it should be the biggest one. For some reason. And that kid will not remember 1 second of it. And people spend so much money. But it is a big deal, and I get it. They made it to 1 year. All right. Well, this woman, mom in California, was like, well, I want to have a birthday party for my 1-year-old, and created an Evite, right?
Okay.
And when Evite, anybody familiar with Evite? It's online, and it'll go to your contact list, your personal contact list, and then send all your emails out for you.
Yeah.
plain and simple. So she does that. She gets makes an Evite up, puts all the cute little things, 1-year-old little boys turning 1 year old, and hits send and realize she sent it to absolutely everyone in her contacts. Now I have about a good 200 people in mine, right? That's not the worst part. So like, I'll use example of when I was dating. If I met somebody at like Applebee's, it'd be Andrea Applebee's, or Hair Lip, or
Smells.
Smells weird.
Yeah, bad breath.
Or bad breath. All of those were then the name. It was like Dear Bad Breath, Bob Bad Breath. No. You're invited to my child's 1-year-old birthday party, and she said it's hundreds of emails went out with that, and so. I can get it, everybody getting one, but you got to be careful what you name people in your contact list.
I remember that happened with LinkedIn. Like somehow, when you join LinkedIn, then it says, invite other people to join your LinkedIn page, and then you hit okay, sure, but you don't realize it's inviting everyone from your contact, and people are like, why are you asking me to join LinkedIn? Oh boy, oh shame. Here's one video that you have to see to believe. Let's just call it a real piece of trash, shall we? A crafty porch pirate was caught on a doorbell camera disguised as a garbage bag as they approached a house and stole a package right there from the doorstep, just covered it up and waddled right away with it. Video shows the unidentified person walking up to the home covered in a trash bag with only their feet and slippers visible. The homeowner said he could not believe it when he watched the security footage. Now, we never condone this type of behavior. However, this package thief does get an A for creativity.
So, look at I guess they're Crocs. They look like Crocs, I guess.
Yeah,
so look at made for white Crocs. And the trouble that they did, and the reward is not that much, it's like, that really says everything I need to know about you, of what kind of a human being you are.
Right.
That you spent all that, and then, and then try to disguise your height and everything in order to steal something from your neighbor. So it says everything about you.
In a trash bag.
In a trash bag.
Is that how they stole your tree?
Probably. I wish I would have actually found more humor in that. But instead, it was just somebody just ripped it out of the ground and walked right off.
Be creative if you're going to steal stuff.
Right there in the yard.
A tree.
Well, back when I was poor, if I did any traveling, it was always in trash bags, right? When you ever seen those guys at the airport that have trash bags for their luggage? Well, an airline right now has announced it's actually going to start weighing passengers with those carry-on luggages in their hand in order to better estimate the plane's weight before takeoff. Now, the controversial move, it comes from the Finnish carrier Finnair. It just disappeared in Finnair. That should be there.
Get your stuff and go home.
In Finnair.
Finnair. They serve the UK. They have budget flights to and from Finland. And airlines work out the weight of a plane, all for safe transit. Well, so far, 500 customers have participated in that weigh-ins. The airline assured potential passengers that their data is not being used for personal profiles. Well, I would hope not. Still, it's another inconvenience, and we can send a man to the moon, but we can't figure out a weight distribution sort of thing. And then how do they do this on Southwest Airlines? I'm picking that out because you pick your own seat on Southwest Airlines.
Oh, that's a good question.
So how do they get around that? So is it that big of a deal? Or I've never seen anybody kind of at least on Southwest, anybody, hey, you need to move over here.
Like you had mentioned earlier, it's the size of the plane. If it's a smaller plane.
Maybe that's what it is. Okay.
But like a Southwest plane, I would think that they would be able to manage that regardless of,
No matter, it seems like they could figure it out.
Right.
But obviously, it isn't as big a deal as we thought it was if Southwest is able to do it.
Yeah.
All right, we love having you along. We're going to have more Flash. It's coming up right around the corner. Don't you go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Daily Flash, and in today's Financially Speaking, we are going over the retail landscape and how it has changed a lot over the years, with some businesses that have been around for decades, almost hundreds of years, shutting their doors, while others have merged and expanded. Here with some insight into why retail businesses are merging and finding other ways to keep the lights on is investment banker and contributor for Forbes.com, Richard Kestenbaum, a partner with Triangle Capital. Welcome, Richard.
Hi, Matt. Great to be here.
So why are these mergers and acquisitions happening so much in the retail market right now?
Retail is the front line between business and consumers. It's where business sees the change in consumer behavior when tastes adapt as time goes on. And so sometimes that means companies are very successful if they hit it right and they're giving consumers what they want, and sometimes not. And very often it's somewhere in between. In order to be so adaptable, companies sometimes need to combine, or investors want to get a return on their money while their business is successful in order to continue to adapt. And that makes retail an ever-changing environment, and change means mergers and acquisitions.
But what makes these acquisitions succeed or fail? Because some of them just fall apart, or they're tremendously successful.
You know, it's such a funny thing. I always marvel at it. Our business is mergers and acquisitions. I've been doing it for decades. And what you find is that buyers usually pay a lot of attention to the numbers, totally understandable. And the numbers they pay the most attention to are the numbers that happen right before the transaction is completed, the performance of the company right before the transaction closes. What I find interesting is when we see transactions fail, it's usually because of culture. Culture is a very hard thing to assess, but I don't see so much attention being paid in due diligence to the differences in culture between companies. And that's the critical thing. When people have different expectations after a transaction closes and companies combine, that's where failure begins. There are other causes, but that's the biggest one we ever see.
Do you have an example of something controversial that may happen in retail mergers and acquisitions where it just didn't work out, or they were having a fight internally?
Well, I don't want to talk about other people's failure, but let's talk about controversial mergers and acquisitions. Your viewers may be familiar with Albertsons and Kroger, who are trying to merge, and the government is trying to stop them. They're saying that we have to compete with Amazon and Walmart, and those are not traditional grocers. And so we, Kroger, Albertsons, they say, need to have more scale to be more efficient and combine. And the people, the attorneys general and the FTC that's trying to stop them are saying, but this could mean a rise in prices for consumers. And so it's in the courts now. And we're going to have to see whether the companies will be able to merge.
And how does the government feel about allowing these deals to happen? Because we've heard of them kind of putting the stop to a few of them out there.
Sure. Well, the government is so often in the business of politics, and that's a hard thing to predict. And I'm not in the business of politics. But the government's feeling about it changes depending on the deal and changes from administration to administration. And so there is a need to protect consumers, and there is a need to allow the most efficient things to happen in the economy in order to increase employment and general prosperity and household income. So the government is in a somewhat conflicted position. How do we understand what's going to happen in the future in a way that will maximize outcomes for everyone in accordance with what we believe politically? And it's changing all the time.
Well, that's great information, Richard, and we'll be sure to have all of that on our website at dailyflashshow.com, and you can check it out on our YouTube page also. Just search Daily Flash Show. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Matt.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. Are you looking for ideas on how you can improve, renew, clean, and organize your home this spring? Well, we got television personality David Shenkoff with more.
Upgrading your kitchen and laundry appliances can make a huge difference on your home remodeling project. Luckily, May is Maytag month. Now through May 31st, you can save up to 30% on select Maytag appliances. Plus, if you buy 3 appliances, you'll receive an additional $200 prepaid card via mail-in rebate or instant rebate. Visit Maytag.com for full promo details. Consider the Maytag Performance lineup, which includes a large capacity cooling fridge, a range that simmers and sears with precision, a microwave that handles splatters and spills, and a dishwasher with serious cleaning strength, all backed by a 10-year limited part warranty. If your home has pets, check out the Maytag Pet Pro washer and dryer, named Best Top-Load Washer for Pet Owners by Review.com. The Pet Pro filter in the washer removes 5 times more pet hair. All available on Maytag.com and at participating Maytag brand retailers. For more info, go to Maytag.com/May.
Lifestyle and wellness expert Seema Cohen joins us now with Seema's Trending Picks, the ultimate Mother's Day gift guide. Hi, Seema. So what's trending for Mother's Day?
So good to see you. All right. Mitigate Stress has developed the most pure, natural, and absorbable form of magnesium on the market. Their master mineral drink is combined with bicarbonates, which transport oxygen in the body and increase your performance and recovery. Over 42% of your body's enzymes rely on magnesium. If you're looking to relax your body, deepen your sleep, or help you stay focused during this day, you can find them at mitigatestress.com.
Awesome. What else do you have for us for Mother's Day?
All right. Avicii Organics, USDA certified skincare offering purity and efficacy with impressive results. No alcohol, non-GMO, no parabens, and no artificial fragrances. Give mom radiant skin with their luxurious eye cream, instantly hydrating and youthful glow. It pairs perfectly with their day moisturizer for smooth, rejuvenated skin. Indulge in the ultimate nighttime ritual with their nourishing Time Cream. Experience true organic beauty at avicii.com.
Great. And, moms love a variety of things. So what else can you throw out there for her?
All right. This one is perfect for all dog moms. Treat your pups to affordable, high-quality meals with ButcherBox for Pets. Their premium nutrition dog food toppers and treats are free from antibiotics, added hormones, and artificial flavors or preservatives. Promoting digestive health, committed to sustainability and quality. They deliver the same trusted, responsibly sourced ingredients as ButcherBox straight to your fur baby's bowl. And you can find them at butcherboxforpets.com.
Got to take care of those fur babies. And what's the last thing for mom this Mother's Day?
Allbirds are everywhere right now. It's a staple of celebrity wardrobes. Jennifer Lopez has been living in hers. In the paparazzi shots are anything to go by. These three shoes are all made with light, airy tree fiber with a super squishy sole, adding bounce to each step. The Tree Runner is the company's best-selling shoe. The Go is the brand's newest shoe. And the Breezer is the signature feminine shoe. And you can find them at allbirds.com.
Fantastic, Seema. Thank you for all that. And we'll have all those Mother's Day gifts on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Thank you there, Matt. All right, during May, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs reminds veterans to prioritize their mental health. Here's more.
During May, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is reminding veterans to prioritize their mental health.
VA wants vets to know that mental health treatment works and recovery is possible. This Mental Health Month, the Today I Am campaign, is showing veterans that they are not alone if they're experiencing mental health challenges, and that with treatment, a better life is possible.
VA offers many different kinds of help. Reaching out is the first step.
On the Today I Am campaign website, veterans and their loved ones can explore the real and inspiring mental health care stories of their peers, learn about available resources, and see for themselves how support and treatment have allowed veterans like them to heal.
To hear these veteran stories, go to maketheconnection.net/MHM.
Student loan debt has been a major point of contention, and joining us to talk about the very latest developments is Ayelet Sheffi. She's the senior economic policy reporter for Business Insider. Ayelet, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
So what's the current state of student loans?
The federal student loan payments resumed in October after an over 3-year pause on payments. And this has meant that a lot of borrowers have had to incorporate an extra monthly bill into their budget. We've seen borrowers getting late billing statements, incorrect billing statements. So this is something that the Education Department and servicers are working to balance as borrowers are once again, having this extra bill in their monthly budgets.
Will there ever be affordable and easily accessible loans and financial programs for students? And what about the colleges reducing the rates they charge to get so many of these students in debt?
So we see a lot of efforts both on the college level and on the federal level to work to make higher education more affordable. But of course, it'll take time, and it does depend on resources from Congress, just in terms of getting more funding for servicers and the Education Department to make things possible.
Now some loans are being forgiven. I think it's a tough pill to swallow if you're seeing some people get their student loans forgiven while others actually followed through. They signed a paper, they agreed to take the money out and pay it back.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is a difficult thing for a lot of people who have paid back their student loans. But I think what we're seeing in the argument for debt relief is that oftentimes we see these borrowers who have paid more than what they owed, and that's due to interest capitalization. We're seeing a lot of times if student loan borrowers might fall behind on payments or they have some sort of personal issue that makes it difficult for them to make those payments, interest is still building. So that means that a lot of times a borrower might only take on, $20,000 in student debt and have a $50,000 balance. So a lot of people who are pushing for student debt relief are saying that it's simply about making it fair and equitable for borrowers who have paid back more than what they borrowed.
One last quick question for you on a large scale. What's the impact of student loan debt on the economy?
So I think it's at this point, we're still trying to figure out what the impact of the student loan resumption is having, overall on the economy. But what we've seen is a bit of drawback in consumer spending. So a lot of retailers have expressed concern that, they're not getting the same amount of investment that they were during the student loan payment pause. So it's definitely something that I know a lot of economists are hoping to follow, as the student loan payment resumption is going into effect. And, of course, on the other side of things, the student loan payment pause has been, people are saying it has been an economic stimulus. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see, how the resumption is playing out.
Ayelet Sheffi, thank you so much. For more information on student loans, head over to businessinsider.com.
KSA Entertainment is proud to produce and provide a robust collection of entertaining, uplifting, and timely content to broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico. KSA Entertainment. On point. On air.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash.
We usually generally kind of like to tell you what's going on. I don't know if you're hinted around, but Maddie's been traveling, worldwide traveler today. Back from south.
We did a quick little trip to Mexico for the family. Well, my soon-to-be family. It's my fiance's brother, sister, her 2 nephews, all of us 6 in small little cabins with the door in between, all that.
Sounds fun.
But so I found out something about this family.
Oh boy.
We did the buffet eating as one does on a cruise because just glutton everything,
right.
Drink, eat, whatever. And I got shamed for mixing my meats on my plate.
Like chicken and steak.
Chicken, steak. You just pile it on.
I
wouldn't. You got food shame.
I got food
shame.
shame.
Put up with that. I wouldn't. I'm telling you, run.
It was.
Don't do it.
I've put too much money into it already. But they all 5 of them all had their meats separate on different plates, and I'm over there with just a pile, and they were like, "You don't do that." I'm like, no.
But now you were with a family, so I can understand. You're the one that does something different because you're the odd one, and I guess it shows you the dynamics of happening in a family, just traditions. That's how it's done, so that's how you think it's supposed to be.
But Leah's never said anything to me like that.
Oh, so she does she do that?
She does it, but she never shamed me over it. Her sister was like, "What, you mix all those together?" And her brother's like, "Yeah, you do that." I'm like, "What?"
Well, they're gonna make you feel like you're not, good enough. And number one, that's maybe the first step to be able to do that. So keep that in mind.
Now, I never wanted the sauce to touch my spaghetti when I was about 7, but I've since grown up a little bit more, and I now combine the sauce with the
I do
spaghetti.
the whole just mix everything together.
I don't like anything. I can handle it, touch it. I do not let it touch. I try not to let it touch, but it's not like it. I can't eat it if it does. By all means.
But I will do my salad on a separate plate. I will not mix that on the same plate with the meat.
Well, that's tough because the meat's warm and you want your salad to stay
And I don't want the dressing getting into it. But they did that, and I did not shame them. So.
I think that's the question. Like, why shame you for that?
They just started staring at me. I'm like, what happened? Plus, I'm half drunk.
You should pick up the plate and just throw it out. That'd have been awesome.
That would have been a great start to the
Here you go. Take your meat.
Thank you all for spending time with us.
Yes. For more information on anything you've seen on the show, just head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Before we leave, here are some of the folks that make our show great.
Yes.
There we go. Y'all take care.
Bye,
We will see you when
everybody.
we look at you. Bye-bye, everybody.